I get to have my dramatic game show voice twice, but I'm gonna be a little less dramatic than the F1 ring. It's been a dramatic type of day. Nicole, we're gonna play a new game.
I love games.
Yep. It is called Red Flag. I think it's a new game. I know them well. It's gonna sweep the F1 season, and we're gonna speculate wildly on what could possibly make a couple of the drivers on the grid leave their current teams. I'm going to give you a series of potential things that could happen over the next 3 seasons that could lead to the end of Charles at Ferrari. And if we have time, we'll do a second iteration of the game and talk about Lando leaving McLaren, potentially. Both things have been wildly speculated in the news. Like, does Charles need to leave Ferrari in order to win a championship? Does Lando need to leave McLaren to win a championship? Likely yes. That one's a little more obvious.
Tell us how you really feel.
Right. Each thing I'm going to tell you is, of course, made up, but could potentially happen. And each of them stack on top of each other. And so I'm going to say, hey, this happened, and you, in the mindset of Charles or Lando, need to tell me whether we keep pushing. That doesn't make, that's not going to make me tip over the edge, not the straw that breaks the camel's back. I'm not ready to leave my team. Or is that the event? All right, this has been too many things. Briana, you have said too many dramatic events. At this point, I'm done. We're going to box. Box. That's it.
Okay, prefacing, I do not know what any of these events are. I'm coming into this completely blind. This is a live reaction and response. When Brianna pitched this game, I was like, 100%, I support, I'm excited, but I have no idea what was about to happen.
Nope. Now, all of the events, of course, I'm just going to reiterate again, like, I'm talking about things that haven't happened yet, because we're going to talk about the 23, 24, and 25 season if Nicole hasn't punted and decided that I'm not re-signing. The reason this goes through the 25 season is that both of these contracts are through the 25 season, and neither of them has signed a new contract for 26 and beyond yet. And for all of you listening, please tweet us at @GridwalkShow with what hypothetical event you would have said it's time to pit if Nicole goes longer or shorter than you would have. Or if you're watching on YouTube, which, by the way, you can watch on YouTube, leave us a comment with this below. All right, Nicole, do you want to start with Charles or Lando?
Oh, I got to start with Charles. Charles, I first want to apologize for whatever I'm about to put you through, because I don't want to put you through turmoil, because I love you, but we're starting with
Charles. To be fair, I'm putting him through hypothetical turmoil, and then you just need to decide if it's too much. If you, Ferrari's golden boy, have decided you're going to a different team in 2026 because you're done and over with it.
My brain is on fire. Okay.
We're starting with the 2023 season. Event number 1, Ferrari at preseason testing next week is on top of the timesheets. But by week 2, it's clear that Mercedes have caught up to them and Red Bull is the fastest team.
Push the slap.
We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going because it's nothing I feel like he hasn't necessarily experienced before.
Event number 2 of the 2023 season. Max continues to talk to you in every cool-down room about how much backing and support he is getting from Red Bull as the number 1 driver for the first half of the season.
Oh, no. Oh.
Push the slap.
Yeah, it's just sad. That's all I gotta say. That's just sad.
I did try to make these decently realistic.
Yeah, they're so real.
It is the summer break, and the Ferrari power unit has blown up 2 times for you already this season.
Oh,
you weren't necessarily in racing winning positions, but reliability is still an issue, is what I'm implying here.
Push the slap.
I'm having some deja vu, but it's okay.
Yep. It is Brazil, so it's later in the season, and you're having to do a ton of press about how the plan was actually year 2 with Vasseur, and that was actually the target, is championship next year.
I'm just so worried. This is all so possibly accurate of potential things to happen.
Push the slap.
We're going.
All right,
Next
we're moving
season.
into the 2024 season. I expected you to push through. It's pretty, and I made this pretty tame because, you know, we have 3 seasons. All right,
And Charles loves Ferrari.
Right. It is going to take probably a lot for him to give
Right.
up on his Ferrari dream.
Right.
But, you know, it was Seb's dream too. It is the 2024 season. Ferrari is flirting with a different driver on the grid a bit too publicly when you're supposed to be Mr. Ferrari going into the season.
Push the slap.
Gross.
Ferrari doesn't give any team orders at race 12, so about halfway through the season, because you're level on points in the drivers with Carlos, but Ferrari at this point can still win the constructors.
There's hope. There's hope. He's still there. There's still hope.
Mm-hmm. He's probably angry, but
He's
hope.
angry. Oh, I'm nervous. These hypotheticals have me so nervous.
So like normal, Ferrari started strong. You won race 3, but it's been a while. You're in a position where you could win at Coda, so much later in the season, but the team picked the wrong tires for the 3rd stint.
God.
I will let you know this is the last one of the 2024 season. He has one more year left on his contract.
This is where I feel like it's going to get super spicy. Now we got to
Push the
go.
slap.
Let's
Okay.
go.
So at this point,
Senior
Charles
year.
still believes in your hypothetical scenario with my hypothetical things. Charles still believes he's not ready to leave Ferrari yet. He hasn't given up hope. We're rolling in to the 2025 season. I have 3 events that happen here.
Oh my God.
Also, by the way, if we don't get through all of them, I will tell the ending one, so everyone playing along can tell me where they would have punted. They might have already, because I thought some of those 24 ones were rough.
Yeah, no, the 24 ones had me rough, but I just kept thinking, Charles loves Ferrari. And the story of if he were to do it, what an episode of Drive to Survive it'll be.
All right, it's the 2025 season.
I'm nervous. Okay, sorry.
After a stunning 2024 season where he still has no plan to retire, Ferrari are now publicly flirting with re-signing Fernando Alonso, leading into the next regulation set.
I just got chills around, like, my everywhere. Oh my gosh.
Push the slap.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You got pole at Monaco, but Ferrari messed up the pit stop for getting a tire.
No! Oh, no! There's only 3 for 2025?
Mm-hmm. There's only one more after this.
Oh, this is rough. I think I might box.
That would be your tipping point.
I'm boxing. Because 2025, at that point, if this boy still hasn't won Monaco, like, oh my God, he better be pulling a Kimmy and walking on a yacht and getting, like, hammered. But I'm boxing because I can't even emotionally take that at that point. So
Especially
I'm calling it.
All of this stacked.
Yeah,
And
the
so,
Fernando, all of that. I couldn't.
Yep.
Oh, I'm pole. Oh my. Okay.
I'll
Box,
let you know
I'm done.
that my last one, if you pushed, was going to be Fred is fired right before the start of the new regulation set, and a new team principal is brought on to solve all the problems again. Was going to be my last one of the 2025 season.
And I think I would get to that point and say, I don't know if it would necessarily be Charles deciding to leave at that point. I think someone would be making that decision for him. And
honestly, Ferrari loves a scapegoat. So if we get to the end of Charles's contract and he's not used as a scapegoat the way that Seb was, I'd be floored.
I agree.
Right. So I do think we have enough time if you want to do what will it take for Lando to leave McLaren.
Let's do it. Let's put him through some stuff.
Okay. Again, remember, these are all made-up events that seem pretty realistic that could happen. I will let you know that they're less dramatic than the Ferrari events because I just think no one can match the drama of Ferrari.
Of course not. It's their brand.
Right. What will it take for Lando to leave McLaren? It is the 2023 season. McLaren's Rainbow Red Bull. Shout out to She Loves F1 for giving me that name. It is not any faster or better to drive early in the season than the 2022 car.
Push the slap.
My hot take, I'm expecting worse, so.
McLaren announces a deal with Honda for 2026, but it's just a title sponsorship.
Push the slap.
All right, final one of the 2023 season. Piastri started the season slow, but ended the season on par with Lando. Due to early successes, people believe that Lando dominated Piastri, but Lando knows that's not the truth and that they're much closer on pace than C.
This is getting to sensitive subjects.
Push the slap.
But he'll keep going.
All right, 2024. 3 events still here.
Okay.
In the off-season, some of Zach's IndyCar drivers, who he's been stringing along, promising an F1 seat, start to make some serious noise about actually wanting that said seat. But Zach doesn't immediately shut them down, so he doesn't secure any of his drivers' seats, making Lando feel good. He's like, oh yeah, you know what, they're pretty fast. We should consider them for a seat.
And Thanos was just collecting stones.
Push the slap.
McLaren is still not a solid best of the rest, competing with now 2 other teams for P4 in the Constructors halfway through the season.
Push the slap.
Keep going.
After a long 2024 season, McLaren ends P5, but Piastri ends the season with more points than Lando. Still hasn't won a race.
Oh! It's a tipping point. I'm gonna... we'll go into 2025. We'll go. Okay. We'll start the year.
I have four events for 2025.
4, okay.
McLaren officially announces that it's going into the 2026 regulation set as a Mercedes customer team.
That end of event?
Oh, end of event, yes.
Okay. Oh boy. We're good.
Lando starts to no longer be the media darling and is being questioned a lot for having failed to win his first race up until this point when most of his peers have.
I want to keep...
Push the slap.
No. Like, I'll give you the rest of them if you actually...
No. But I don't think this would be... I think
his
it's
point.
Getting there. It's really getting close. There's 2 left, right?
2 left, yep.
Okay.
Halfway through the 25 season, at this point, the regulations have kind of converged. Some of the back markers have closed up. So the McLaren drivers are both podiuming when the top teams crash or mess up. But they're still only fighting for P4 in the Constructors. There's a reasonable gap there. But more trophies.
I think this point might be riding it to the end.
Yeah, you might come to the end and say, no, he resigns after all these things. So here's my last one. We'll see if he resigns in your book or not. By the end of the season, Piastri wins a race, but Lando does not.
All right, box.
Done. Boys done. Boys gone. Boys out. Boys somewhere else. Boy, yeah. Done.
Yeah,
that's
if that happens with another teammate, I think he would.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Although, with how we've seen McLaren handle some things, I feel like there could be an announcement before he even gets to that. Also, again, out of his control. But if that does not happen, that would do it. That would do it in. He'd be like, I gotta go somewhere else. It's just not me. But, okay.
So I do think the silliness of this is a fun game. I like this game. Where do you raise the red flag? But I do think it's silly that we're 3 seasons out from the end of their contract, and both of these are huge topics in the media right now of, like, do they leave their teams? Like, we have a while to go, and a lot of dramatic things can happen between now and then, but
And
You-
I'm sure they will.
you went much further than I thought you were going to, particularly with Charles. There were a couple moments there where I was like, oh, I would hitbox at this
The
point.
Fernando Alonso one really almost had me there because I'm like, oh my god. But I'm glad I stopped. I'm glad it was Monaco that put me over. I'm glad he held out, because if going through all of that and then that Monaco situation happened, 100% I think he'd be like, it's great, I'm done. That's it.
I was like, how can I make all of these events realistic enough that you're like, oh, that would your brain isn't going, that would never happen, but dramatic enough that, like, they're
Yeah.
on the, like, oh my god, that's incredibly dramatic scale.
Yeah, the power unit failure one, I'm just like, God, if this is still an issue, then yeah, I would also dip. But you know what? It's familiar now, so we could ride a little bit. I'm glad I got to some crazy chaos, but that was lots of fun. All those were red flags for sure.
So definitely leave a comment on the YouTube video at what point you would have said, nope, I'm out, I'm signing with Red Bull or Mercedes or a different team or Audi, whatever it is, or tweet us at Gridwalk Show. We want to hear if you would have taken it as far as Nicole. Nicole really held on strong for both of these drivers.
Yeah, I was hopeful, I guess.
All right, box.
Thank you, voiceover man, the entire Mercedes team, for giving us hope for this upcoming season, and our 4-legged executive producers. Everyone, please turn on auto downloads, rate and review the pod. You have no idea how much it helps us out. Hey, you listening on Apple Podcast. We're really hoping to get 5 reviews by the time we have lights out in Bahrain. So pretty please let us know what you love, what you'd like to see us do. We want to continue to improve our show. Make sure you follow us on every social media platform, whichever ones you prefer. We are at Gridwalk Show absolutely everywhere. You can join us for some daily grid walks. But we will be back every Thursday. And remember all the special bonus fun we have next week. We hope you join us. Whew, today was a grid run, for sure.
Yes.
Not a grid walk.